We're seeing a lot of chatter in the live chat about WrestleMania. Nick from Boston has a fun question. Everybody wants to know what Randy Orton's doing for WrestleMania. I've seen some speculation that it could be Nick Aldis, and I've even seen some chatter online saying that he's the betting favorite. That since Randy Orton gave the RKO to Nick Aldis when it was announced that Kevin Owens was out of WrestleMania, people think Nick Aldis might get his WrestleMania moment. I, for one, am all for that. There's been other speculation that, well, guys like Rusev or perhaps even Aleister Black, who we've heard are coming back to WWE, might take that spot. If you were booking, Eric, would you give this WrestleMania opportunity against Randy Orton to Rusev, to Malachi Black, or to Nick Aldis?
Nick, because there's a story. You've got an inciting incident, which is the first thing you do in an act one. You take your character, in this case, Nick Aldis. He's the GM of WWE. His world is being the GM of WWE. And then something happens. That's why it's called an inciting incident. You're like lighting a match to a fuse and stick of dynamite. Something happens to take him out of that world and thrust him into one that's completely different. And then the journey begins. I think it's great. Here's another reason why I think it's great. Because I think Nick Aldis is a super guy. Super guy. Class act. And I've stayed in touch with Nick. We've stayed friends since my time in TNA, to be honest. And there's been different times throughout his career before he ended up as the GM where we bounced ideas back and forth and talked about different options that he had and what might be the best option for him, just as friends. I know, based on those conversations, that it was a real struggle for Nick because he never his opportunity at WWE came late. And he's so grateful for the role he's in. I know he is. But this situation where all of a sudden he goes from being the guy that's looking in his rearview mirror and going, I never really had the shot I really wished I could have had in the ring as a wrestler. Oh, and now he's going to be in WrestleMania, potentially. What a great way. Just a great thing to happen to anybody, especially to a decent guy like Nick.
I, for one, hope it's Nick Aldis too. It's crazy to think he's been at that company now more than 18 months. And what a build it would wind up being if he's been an on-screen character for 18 months. But you can just take a look and know that he's kept himself in phenomenal shape. And a lot of wrestling fans, a lot of WWE fans are going to really see if this happens, and this is real, Nick Aldis in action for the very first time. And what a debut at WrestleMania. Goodness gracious,
too good to be true. I mean, you never want to, get an opportunity because of somebody else's injury, particularly in the case of Kevin, which is a serious one, career threatening at the least. But man, it happened. And what a story that would be for Nick. What a story that would be. That would be documentary worthy, actually. You give me 1 hour of somebody's airtime and I could tell you one hell of a story with that situation.
Let that be a lesson to young wrestlers too, right? He, in theory, if this proves out to be true, I don't know. I'm just guessing, but I would imagine that Nick, when he came on board with WWE, he still wanted to wrestle, but they weren't looking for a wrestler. They were looking for a GM. So he took the job that maybe wasn't his dream job, but it got him a jersey. It got him in the game. And in theory, he's done everything that was asked of him. He's been a loyal and faithful and true soldier for WWE, but he's also kept himself in great shape. If this winds up happening and he gets called off the bench, if you will, and now he's in the confines of the ring at WrestleMania against Randy Orton, man, that's the stuff that dreams are made of. And it's a story of perseverance that I hope a lot of young wrestlers or just young entrepreneurs or young business people, or if you're in a sports situation as a young person listening to this and QB1 goes down, if you're not ready to step into that spot, you'll never get that spot. It's not like, hey, make me the manager and I'll start showing up on time. You got to be ready. And if this happens, man, what a story that is for Nick Aldis. I'm with you, Eric. It's like a little miniature movie. It's a little documentary in and of itself.
Yeah, it sure is. Let's hope for the best. And yeah, I won't say anymore. Let's just hope for the best.
And just me personally, what if Mickey James was there doing her best scary Sherry for Nick? That would be so cool, dude. I would love that. I hope that happens.
Me too.
Revan says on Dave's podcast, he said he wasn't surprised that Gunther renewed with WWE because they're in a war. While I agree they're paying more because there's another place, I'm not sure that means war. I'm not surprised that that these companies are trying to lock down talent long term. Like, it does feel like, the revenues and the stakes are higher than ever. And if you're trying to forecast and you're trying to, report your numbers to the street like you are with WWE, you don't want any of your wild horses getting out and escaping. You got to lock those folks down. Gunther re-signing with WWE just makes sense to me. Wouldn't you agree?
It's so obvious. And again, it's the perception that Dave is trying to create and trying to manipulate into people thinking that there's a war and that there's actually any real impact of anything that AEW does on WWE. Here's what I think, and this is just business. WWE is and this is, I hate to even say this because this was Vince McMahon's thing all along. And I used to just, whatever, I'd hear him say it. The company is an intellectual property company. And with the things that are going on now in WWE, they're probably looking at licensing deals that have a 3-year runway before they hit the market. When you look at the types of video games they're doing and the types of things they're doing, these are deals that take time to develop. You do the deal and then you have to develop the content over time. Could be a year, could be a year and a half, 2 years, depending on what you're developing. If it's something that's, if it's a video game, it takes for a long time to develop those. So if you've got a piece of talent that you feel is valuable to you based on the forecast you can see in front of you with deals that he would be involved in or she, you want to sign them up long-term. You don't want to run up against, the end of their contract before you start negotiating. You're looking far into the future if you're actually operating a business. And clearly WWE is operating an intellectual property business. That has a lot more to do with it than anything that Tony Khan does or doesn't, or even the perception of any one talent leaving the company to go anywhere, to go become a monk, whatever. There's no single piece of talent right now that could leave WWE that would have a significant immediate impact on the future of the company.